Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you?
The good, the bad, and the guilty is recorded live with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, here's your host, Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking your time to tune in today to The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty. I am not Sheriff Campbell. For those of you that are new to the show, I'm Bill Hamby, one of the two chief deputies we have here at the Iredell County Sheriff's Office. Very honored to have two fine guests with us today, Captain Randy Horton and Detective Alex Sharpe. We're going to be talking, today's topic is going to be about crime scene investigation, a little bit of our candidate program, maybe some evidence handling. So if you or anybody that you know, like CSI, crime scene investigation, all that high speed, low drag kind of stuff, today is your day. So thank you for taking your time to tune in today. You can watch the show on Facebook Live. We are live. And we're taking messages, so if you have any questions or anything that you want to ask us or either one of our guests, please give us a message, and we'll try to do our best to answer that on air. You can also listen to us today on 107.5, 100.7, 105.9, 1400 AM on X and Twitter, and then, of course, on the WSIC News app that is available at iOS or the Android store. So, guys, good afternoon, and thank you so much for taking your time to be with us on our show today.
Hey, Chief, how are you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you? How's Miss Alex?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Good to see you guys. As y'all know, and I don't know that our new listeners know, but for our new listeners, our show, The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty, is proudly presented by Harrison's. I know you like Harrison's. I can see
I am literally everything I have on came from Harrison's.
So from the job site to the rodeo to the banks of Lake Norman. Change that up a little bit. Nice. Harrison's has you covered. They're the Southeast leader in Carhartt and Ariat workwear, and nobody has more in-stock work boots. They can get you ready to go boot scooting. Yeah, you boot scoot, don't you?
I boot scoot.
Do you boot scoot?
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time you scooted a boot?
It's been a couple months now.
Okay, Randy, we don't know.
No.
I slide on concrete in my boots.
You recall, maybe. I'm just getting over an injury. I don't need.
That's
anymore.
true. That's true. That's true. But if you do go boot scooting, they have things. They have your Western favorites like Cinch, Rock and Roll Denim, and Wrangler. And if you go to their Facebook page, which you really should because they update almost daily some of their specials, according to their Facebook page this week, they currently have 25% off all women's dress and denim shorts.
Yes.
There you go. At the Lake Norman, at the Mooresville location only. So if you're down at Lake Norman, you have to go to the Mooresville location, and it's on in-stock items only as well. And they also have, and I didn't realize this till the other day when I was looking, they have a custom hat bar. Ball cap, not cowboy hat. So,
okay.
Randy, we may go down there and get us a couple hats made, to cover up bald spots and things like that.
Fact.
You get to design a custom hat that's uniquely you. Stop by Harrison's, get creative, and leave with a one-of-a-kind hat that fits your style or my style. They can't wait to see what you create, and I know that their staff down there are amazing. They're a really good bunch of folks. So please visit their Mooresville location, located at 168 Norman Station Boulevard, Mooresville. That's across from Walmart. They're off 150 if you can get through all that 150 construction traffic down through there. Or you can shop online at harrisonsusa.com. Harrison's, your home for work, Western, lake gear, and wow. So Harrison's, thank you so much for taking your time to sponsor our show. I know Sheriff Campbell appreciates that. Sheriff Campbell's not with us today. He is out of town on some work-related business. So the three of us got it today. So again, Thank you guys for showing up and answer some hard, cutting-edge questions, I'm sure, by the time this little show is over.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, right? Okay. So we got about 4 minutes before we go into our next section. So, Randy, introduce yourself, because I know you have a lot of initials and periods and dots after your name. Work-related.
Work-related. Yeah, all that cool stuff.
So before you get started, let me just say, it just dawned on me sitting here looking at you guys. I have of the sheriff's offices, the oldest CSI and the youngest CSI.
Actually, I'm not the oldest. You forgot somebody.
Well,
I've been doing CSI
okay, that's
the
right.
longest.
I forgot Tony. Yep.
Yes, we definitely have somebody older than me. Wow.
Well, he's just old.
Yeah, that's fact.
That's fact.
Shout out to you, Tony.
So tell us about you.
So you and I have known each other for 20 plus years.
Long time.
Long time.
Long time.
But
we'll get into that later.
Exactly. So, like you said earlier, my name's Randy Horton. I'm a captain. I am over the forensic services and the property and evidence section. So that encompasses the crime scene unit, the crime laboratory, including the digital forensics portion of the crime laboratory, and then where all the property and evidence is stored.
Right.
And my primary function, besides being an administrator over those sections, is I'm a certified senior crime scene analyst, and I'm also a latent print examiner. So I can look at
break it down.
fingerprints.
Fingerprint man. Okay, you're a fingerprint guy. There you go.
I'm fingerprint man.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I get to go to court, and after some of these other fine folks, or myself, or any one of our patrol people, anyone lifts some fingerprints from a scene, takes pictures of fingerprints at a scene. However, these fingerprints come into our little possession.
Sure.
And a lot of times we process those items in the lab. We don't just do it out on the scene the way that you used to do. You see on TV with powders and things of that nature. I encourage the folks now, since we have some very nice equipment back at our lab,
We do.
that we will seize those items, or actually ask the homeowner, it just depends on what the case may be, to bring them back. We process them in the lab with chemicals or various powders, lots of different things. Special cameras that we have that can see things that the naked eye can't. And then we take those, we run them on, if they're suitable, we run them on AFIS, which is the Automated Fingerprint Identification System,
Right.
and through state and federal databases, and then try to get matches. And then with all my years of training, I get to go to court and testify as an expert and put the bad guy in jail based on some fingerprints.
Excellent. Excellent. Alex, tell us about you.
Like you said, my name's Alex. I am our newest crime scene detective here, the youngest one we've got. But I went to Western Carolina.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
As always. I've got a bachelor's degree in both forensic science and criminal justice. So gearing me towards this side of law enforcement. Graduated on a Saturday, started my BLAT, and here I am. Only been doing this work for about 3.5 years now, I think. And been a detective since January.
Outstanding.
So got a lot more to learn.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're gonna make sure we get the best out of you.
Oh,
So in just a
yes.
minute or so that we have left, you came through our candidate program.
I did, yes.
So tell us your experience or what you thought about coming in law enforcement that way, because a lot of folks don't necessarily get that opportunity.
If it is something that someone can have the opportunity to do, or if you've never heard of it before, please look into it. It helped me mainly financially, but just to have a agency backing me. I could go and ask questions, especially with y'all coming in as instructors, or me just having that link to an agency more so than just someone who's sponsored to come through and be able to, hey, we got this block of instruction. Can I have a little extra help, some
Right.
knowledge in that? But I think I started the candidate program February, maybe. I started the interview process. I was traveling back and forth from college, coming down here for interviews and some stuff, and then got hired on with y'all, and y'all were able to help me go through my BLAT process.
So we were able to pick the best of the best before you started school.
Yes.
There you go. And Randy, we've seen that change over many a year.
Oh yes, it's a competitive program.
Yeah, it used to be that somebody had to die to get a job, but now we're hiring on that. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in crime scene investigation, or anything bad guy catching related, tune in, and we'll be back after a short break. Thank you for tuning in today. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for tuning in today, The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty, as we play what I refer to as my Alfred Hitchcock music.
Nice.
So I do. You see, it kind of sets the tone. It gives a little flavor to the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, we will be talking about crime scene investigation, and all things bad guy catching related, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But Randy and Alex, I know I'm like you said, Randy, earlier, I've known you for over 20 years. And I know that one of the things that Sheriff Campbell it puts a premium on is hiring the best of the best that we can get. And when I was kind of putting the show notes together, I got to thinking of all that we have at the office, and this will dovetail into where we're going. So just bear with me. So right now, the sheriff is former president of North Carolina Sheriff Association, former chairman, fixing to go back to being chairman for this coming term because of some things with some sheriff prior since he was president. So he'll go back in as chairman and then he's on the National Association. How I met you was through the North Carolina Homicide Investigator Association. We were both board members, and then I went the track of the vice president and the president of the association.
I was the
for a
secretary.
couple. You were my secretary.
Yep.
Adam Dillard, our attorney, he is a board member and past president of the North Carolina Association of Police and Sheriff's Attorneys. Matt Burleson, who some of our listeners may be familiar with, he is a past president of the North Carolina Juvenile Officers Association. Dallas Hicks is a former president of the North Carolina Association of SROs, School Resource Officers, and a current board member. And we have 2 master canine trainers, which is a very prestigious certification for canines. And then you have all the initials that you have, which was one of my selling points to get you here.
Correct.
And then based on that, and when Sheriff Campbell came in as sheriff, he put a premium on hiring the best of the best, which is how we end up with the candidate program, and we started getting folks in with degrees and things like that to make it better. And the reason I said all that to say this is there's a lot of training and a lot of experience and a lot of hands-on stuff that you guys do that you have to really kind of know what you're doing so that, as you've alluded to already, you're an expert witness when you're tendered in court.
Correct.
So there again, it's just a premium on the knowledge and the capabilities and the things that we have here at the Iredell County Sheriff's Office that make us that cut above, if you will, that make people want to come here and go to work.
Exactly. So I'm the past president of the North Carolina division of the IAI, which is like IAI.
E-I-E-I-O.
It's the International Association for Identification. It's actually a worldwide organization.
Yes.
So it's all the little forensic nerds that do this type of investigation all over. So I'm the past president for the state.
And you've got state and federal and local agency people that belong to that association.
Yes. Well, all over the world.
Right,
So
correct, correct.
yeah, there's folks that come from Cambodia, Brazil, all that type stuff from the conference. So it's worldwide.
Nice.
And they're the ones that hold my certifications on those things that I was talking about earlier. So besides being the past president, past chairman of the board, currently a board member, and I'm the current co-chair for the conference planning. So this year we're doing a conference with North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee, bringing all the crime scene and forensics people from 4 states together to train together so that we can share knowledge basically across the whole Southeast.
So, Alex, what are you president of yet?
Nothing yet.
Yours is coming.
It's coming.
Yours is coming. Well, that's awesome.
So many years away, but
Hey, you got something to work forward to.
yes, putting some more training and everything, some more knowledge. We'll get there.
There you go. So, Randy, and we'll talk to Alex because the old heads are talking now, and then we're going to bring you in on some of the new stuff. So, how long have you been here in our lab, if you will? 13?
13
Okay.
years, and then did almost 20 prior to that with the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office in Winston-Salem.
So, we'll talk micro level for now, and then we'll talk macro here shortly. So, what have you seen change over these course of the 13 years in how we deliver services through the Iredell County Crime Lab, and how has it made an impact here locally for the citizens of Iredell County?
Well, it is good in the fact that we have our own lab and have our own capabilities here. As you can imagine, with, like I said, being the past president and involved with all the stuff throughout the state, I'm friends with all the folks at the state lab
Yes.
that do DNA, firearms, whatever. And they're great folks, and they do great work.
Yes.
But
100%.
unfortunately, we all know there's 100 counties.
Yes.
There's 100 sheriff's offices. And
At
there's-
least.
At least. And there's plus or minus 900 and change municipal law enforcement agencies.
Right.
So we'll just call that 1,000. If
Easy math.
Yeah, easy math. If each one of them only sent one piece of evidence per week, and a lot of them are sending 20, 30, 50 items to the state lab per week. State lab, I've heard various things. At one point in time, years ago, I know they were sometimes sitting on 50,000 items waiting to be worked. They do great work, but they're inundated.
And just to caveat that, so if I'm an SBI agent, obviously SBI cases will probably come to the top. So if I'm an SBI agent and I have a homicide, that's probably going to take precedent over an Iredell County breaking and entering.
Correct.
So not only do you have the 1,000, but you have the hierarchy of seriousness within those 1,000.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Your stolen television, running the DNA on that is going to fall way below the triple homicide DNA.
Triple homicide, rape, arson.
Exactly. So it's definitely going to be a difference. So
sure.
Our turnaround times are very low. I think my record to this date is.
That's for later.
It's for later.
That's for
okay.
later. That's for later.
All right. My bad. My bad.
I've even got it highlighted here.
I'm jumping bullet points. My bad. So it does give us a much quicker turnaround.
Yes, it does.
Because if you can imagine, someone's, bad guys doing a series of break-ins. We know it's happening. It has the same MO. We know it's likely the same person just based on all the evidence that we can show at the time. Well, if we're going to send it off to the state and it's going to take 6, 8, 10 months to come back, how many more
crimes are they committing?
How many more
in the meantime?
crimes did they commit in the meantime?
Yeah.
If I can work it in a day or two, maybe there's no more, maybe there's one more, whatever it is, it's going to be a very small number versus waiting 6 months.
And one of the things that I enjoy in having used you guys' services when I was working cases is, one, you can turn them around a whole lot faster, which means we can make an arrest a whole lot faster, which means we can get that evidence to the district attorney's office faster in hopes that there'll be a trial faster.
Correct.
And a lot of times if defense attorneys see that DNA match or that fingerprint match or that footprint match, hey, we're playing this out, or we're certainly going to play, let's make a deal and see if we can get as good a plea for my client as possible. So that should speed up, theoretically, the process.
Probably greater than 90% of my cases where I get a fingerprint match. I don't have an exact number, but I would tell you it's north of 90% are going to take a plea. They're not going to go to court and try to argue that, I wasn't there. Those aren't my fingerprints.
Yeah, these aren't my pants.
These aren't my pants. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't, not my pants, not my fingerprints, not my DNA. It's going to be really hard to really say that that's not you.
Yeah, cool deal. Well, that's one of the things that to me, it's a no-brainer, and I wish we had even more services for folks like you guys to do to help put people in jail faster. So I appreciate that. So Alex, let me ask you a couple questions. I know we let Randy talk, and you know how us old people do. We like to talk.
That's okay.
So let me ask you a question, ma'am. What inspired you to become a crime scene investigator? Of all the things and all the college degrees that a young person could strive to obtain and have to go through some pretty difficult coursework to graduate with, what makes you want to be a crime scene investigator?
It really, the easiest way to put it is...
did you wake up one morning and go, by God, that's what I want to do. I want to see death and destruction and deal with all this icky stuff, or...
It almost happens that way.
Almost.
Pretty much. The dumb it down, I like to know, I'm a very logical thinker. I want to know, how did we get from point A to point B to point C? I want to be able to follow the trail of the evidence and actually identifying the person who committed the crime.
Right.
Like on the roadside, I would show up as a deputy and take the initial report and pass it along to Randy or the detectives, and I never knew what happened. Right. I didn't get my answer. Who done it?
You're going to take other reports and answer other calls.
I'm going on to the next call.
Exactly.
So I really wanted to be in this side of law enforcement to where I want to be able to help the person, not just take and be there in the initial state of when the crime happened and take that report. I wanted to be able to actually try to be the one to help them get the answers they needed and help them get their stuff back, or, find out who harms them or their property or whatnot. I wanted to be able to find the who of it and not just the, let me help you for this and let me get your information. I wanted to be able to do more than just the roadside of it.
And without getting too deep into it, with having Iredell County roots that go back a couple generations, it's really cool. I think it's really cool that you came back to work here in Iredell County
Mhm.
amongst friends and family, and the roots that you have here.
Yeah,
You know,
that
Randy's one of our transplant kind of guys, and I worked somewhere else before coming back home. But I think it's quite admirable that of all the places that you could have went, that you came back home and you're working here and
Mhm.
making a difference, which is really cool.
Yeah, that was the most appealing thing for me coming to this agency specifically, was just being able to help the community that raised me.
Hmm.
Like you said, I've got generations here, and just be able to, it's not helping out a family member, but helping out friends or people
Sure.
who raised me or I grew up with. That was the whole reason why I wanted to come back here and do it. Just makes it so much more special.
Excellent, excellent. So, gosh, Randy, I don't know that you can answer this in the minute that we had left before our break because time is flying today.
I will try.
What does a typical day look like for a crime scene investigator?
Well, honestly, Alex would be better suited to answer this question because a lot
Okay.
of mine now is administrative roles.
Okay.
So I have kind of a bifurcated role between admin and still working cases
See,
and
there you go,
lab
using
stuff.
those big words
Yeah,
again.
bifurcated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Alex, in 40 seconds, if you can start the answer, what's a typical day for a crime scene investigator look like?
It depends on the day, but if it is a day where we get a couple scenes, getting that call out, getting on scene, talking to your investigators who are already present, figuring
Mhm.
out what's going on, if we need a search warrant or if we've got consent to be on the property or whatnot, and just being able to get going, photographs, bagging evidence, and then bringing it all back to the office and either starting the processing if we need to, or at least getting it secured in the vault if we have to go out to someone else's property.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a condensed answer. We'll flesh some of that out when we're back in about 2 minutes. Thank you today for tuning in to The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty. Well, Randy, as you can hear from our music, they're playing old school music. Alex is over. He's like, "What is that? What's that racket? What's that noise?" Old school. No, that is Camaro with the louvers.
Did you see the look she just gave me? That was on purpose.
I will. Well, Miss Tracy, thank you so much for sending in those kind words. We appreciate that. And Pastor Carl, I'm going to ask the question, sir. For those of you that may not know, we are taking questions live on Facebook. So if you're out there in Radio Land and want to send us a question, we will take it through Facebook. So guys, Pastor Carl wants to know, is this like the real life CSI? Do we catch him in an hour?
We have.
Sometimes.
It's rare.
It's rare.
But it could happen.
It's true.
So my current record, and we like to laugh about this.
Okay,
and tell this one.
you've mentioned it twice, Randy.
All right, I'm
Let's
moving
talk
ahead.
Let's talk about your record.
You said that Pastor Carl wanted to
I
know,
don't
so
know
we're
why I
gonna
do bullet
throw it
points,
out
but
here.
Go ahead.
I know.
Go ahead.
So one of our other fine CSIs who's on vacation this week is Holly Eldridge.
Yes.
So before Holly was with us in crime scene, she was a detective over in CID.
Yes, sir.
On either her first or second day, she went out and was assigned to a house break-in in progress and was going to be her case. Well, it just so happened that I went out on that one. The gentleman was essentially caught or surprised by the homeowner, went out the window, left his palm print on the windowsill. I was able to lift it, take the lift back to the office, put it in APHIS, get
It's
an
an automated fingerprint identification system.
Yes.
Now, Pastor Carl, that is true. That's that computer that spins all the fingerprints or something similar to that.
Correct. Unlike television, though, it does not come back and give you the fancy words "match found" and just tell you
And
that this
picture
is,
and address and
last time
satellite
they
overlay of their house and all. Yeah,
the
it
last
doesn't do
time
that.
they used their credit card and where
Yeah.
they are now.
Yeah, it doesn't
no.
do that.
It gives me a list of the top 10 people it thinks it could be, and then I have to print off those fingerprint cards and sit there with a magnifying glass and a pointer and work it out and find out which one it might be.
Right.
So I did that, identified the suspect, sent it off to my verifier at another sheriff's office in Guilford County, had them to verify that I was correct, then got a hold of Holly, who was a detective at the time. And from the time that I was arrived on scene till the time that Holly was in the process to going to get warrants for our individual was 47 minutes.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is why we need crime scene lab, crime scene people, smart people who know what they're doing. And best I recall, Randy, in that one, he had quite the extensive criminal history.
He did. It was not exactly tough to find him in the system.
Yes. So there you go. So see, I could go ahead and take that one question off because we already talked about it.
Yes.
So, Alex,
Yes.
what type of training and education are required to become a crime scene investigator? Basically, what have you had to do? And then, Randy, if you can fill in kind of some stuff that you've been involved with over the years.
Obviously, I've got my bachelor's degree, which isn't required, but is heavily encouraged
Yes, ma'am.
to get that leg in the door. But I've been to a number of classes over the years I've been employed here. Even as a road deputy, I started taking more forensics classes, your basic forensics classes. I did a 2-week course for that, photography courses, blood spatter analysis courses. Oh gosh, there's so many fingerprints. I've started doing some fingerprint stuff, but that takes like 10 years to get certified for that. So we've just started doing that. Then you've got the whole other side, which I'm hoping to get into, is more the digital forensics, getting into that. So I'm going to start taking classes for it. And then search warrants, that writing, those classes. I've done interviews and interrogations. The classes could just go on forever and ever. And the more education you get, the better you're going to be. And you'll never hit a point in this career where you'll say, I don't need any more classes. I know it all. Just because everything changes on a day-to-day basis and new technology and everything. So just the more schooling you can go to, the better.
So, Randy, based on that, what Alex has just told us, what more would an individual need to do to become minimum level recognized by the court as an expert witness, so that you can kind of tell our folks what makes you a expert witness? You can testify to your opinion as an expert, to where I or Alex cannot. Just a layman's, you can't testify to your opinion.
Correct. A lay witness can testify to anything that they perceived with their senses.
Correct.
What they saw, what they heard, what they smelled, anything of that nature.
Yes.
An expert witness can testify to their opinion on something based on the fact they're an expert. The judge, once they're gone through voir dire and a bunch of questions to establish the fact that they are an actual expert
Right.
based on their training, experience, certifications, the judge will instruct the jury that they may, should they choose, consider the opinion as fact.
Okay.
So at that point, the judge will tell them that, the fact that I've indicated that this, fingerprint does match this individual, that based on my qualifications and being an expert, they may consider that as being a fact where normally it would just be an opinion.
And then the defense attorney gets to hire their expert to say, Randy's not an expert, I'm an expert.
Correct.
So you have dueling experts at that time.
And in the 21 years I've been in forensics, the defense has hired an expert to try to do that against me a grand total of 2 times in 21 years. So if you send them your CV and show you that you have the right qualifications, the right certifications, I
Right.
think they don't want to spend all that money just to find out that it was a waste of money and that you were right all along.
Cool deal. So let's switch gears just a little bit so our listeners can get just a little bit of feel of kind of what it is that you really do on a day-to-day. So what is the very first thing that you do when you arrive at a crime scene? Let's say that investigators or our deputies are out or investigators are out of the scene and you guys roll up. Is it light a cigarette, have a cup of coffee, eat a donut? I mean, what's the first thing that
The
you guys
very first
do?
thing is to make sure that I have the legal authority to do anything.
Okay.
Because typically,
And what does that mean for our listeners?
meaning most of the time, we're not going to be the first ones there. On rare occasions, we might be, but it's very rare. It's typically going to be patrol or someone of that nature that they're going to be there first. They may have a safety concern. They may need to sweep the scene to make sure there's no one injured. They may need to be, looking for the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
They may need to do stuff that they are allowed to do under, exigent circumstances right then. But once it's essentially cooled down, we've established that there's no immediate threat to,
The magic yellow tape is
yes,
out.
the magic yellow tape is
Yes.
up, and we arrive. At that point, we can't just, willy-nilly just go in and start processing and do what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to need one of 3 things. We're going to need consent from whoever's legally in charge of whatever it is that we're working on, be it a
Correct.
house, a business, a vehicle, whatever it is. We're going to need consent. We're going to need a search warrant, which typically one of the detectives, the patrol does them in narcotics and different things from time to time. We're going to need a search warrant. Or on extremely rare occasion, we're going to need exigent circumstances, meaning it's an outdoor scene. It's bloody and it's going to start to
The
rain.
storm's coming.
It's going to start to
Yeah.
rain in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So literally, we carry a radar app on our phone so we can snap a picture of where we were at the time.
Sure.
Because a year later in court, they're going to argue, well, you had no right to do that. Didn't have a choice. Look at the radar.
Yeah, exactly. So Alex, let me ask you a question. What personality qualities or personal qualities make someone successful in the field that you have decided to get into for your career?
Definitely, especially on our ends, attention to detail and being able to look at a scene not as, a house break-in or a suicide, maybe what you've walked into, and not just walk into it, okay, this is what my caller or my supervisor on scene, this is what they've told me, hey, this is the scene, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to go in with an open mind and to be able to look at the evidence as a whole.
Objectivity.
And you need to have that objectivity to be able to look at it and be, well, the evidence isn't actually supporting what we initially thought this crime scene was.
Mm-hmm.
And older detectives or people who have been doing this for such a long time may run into, we're going into a scene and they're just going to go for it, collect the evidence, and not really look at everything. And it's just something that that we all do. We all just keep in our minds to make sure that we're looking at the evidence and not just what we've been told.
You work the process.
Work the process,
Yep.
yes.
Absolutely. Very good. So, gosh, man, this time is flying today, guys. So, Randy, how do you determine what evidence is the most important in 53 seconds? Because you've gone to the scene, you're being objective. What do you determine is the most important? And then we'll talk about how we work that process on after our break.
I'm not sure that always it's the most important. It's just the fact that it really comes down to more like what do we need to collect and what do we need to take with us. It's all of some varying level of importance.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes on occasion, if it's fairly obvious, I'll make, the first thing I go to or collect or focus on whatever might be the a weapon that was used in the crime if it was there, something along those lines. But I mean, it could be fingerprints, DNA. I mean, on a major scene, those little cute little yellow tents that you see on TV and the little yellow placards.
Yeah, that CSI stuff.
That CSI stuff you see on TV. A small scene, we may only be putting down 6 or 8 of those.
All right, we'll be back here in just a few minutes to finish that answer. Randy, name that tune. Alex, name that tune.
Eminem?
I haven't the slightest clue. That's why I'm asking y'all.
It's Eminem, I think. I'm just not sure which one.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking your valuable time to tune in today to The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty. Guys, I'm telling you, this segment has flown. Thank y'all so much for taking time out of your day to come.
Happy to be here.
I think we've got some good information out to the public. Pastor Carl was thanking you guys for answering his questions. So that just lets you know, ladies and gentlemen, we do answer questions live on the air. All right, guys. So in the few minutes that we have left, this is our last segment. For both of y'all, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about your job? And that's you got these gloves you wear with the goggles and you turn things in 3D and like you hit a button and it tells you who did it without even having to leave the office.
Well,
Happens all the time, right?
that, and for those of us that can remember, CSI Miami, CSI Vegas, CSI
yes.
whatever. Have you ever processed a scene in like a pencil skirt and stiletto heels?
No.
Okay, exactly.
There you go. Right?
I mean,
Wardrobe's a
exactly.
big thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's that, and then it's just the fact that some of the things that they show on there, we have a very good lab. Sheriff Campbell's give us very good equipment. We've spent a lot of money. We've got federal grants. We've had state grants. We have money out of the budget, drug dealer money, you name it that we've got. But some of these shows, like, NCIS and, Law and Order and some of the different ones, they have equipment in that lab, or they'll have someone. I like to use Abby, for example. Used to be on NCIS.
Right.
Well, Abby was certified in everything.
Yeah.
I have dual certifications, and I'm one of only 3 people in North Carolina that has 2. She must have had 15. She
she's
was,
Abby.
exactly. It was Abby. She's trained in everything. So some of the stuff is unrealistic that anyone could afford some of the things that they show on TV.
Right.
And the fact that any one person could be trained to do, it's difficult for the amount of training. I have to have ongoing training constantly to maintain these certifications. It's a struggle to maintain 2.
Right.
I can't imagine trying to, maintain 10 or 12 or something like that.
So, Alex, let me ask you, and I know this is what you wanted to do, and I know you have a degree in it, and you've been doing it for a while now. So let me flip this just a little bit. Knowing now what you know now, what would you have learned different if you could? I mean, I know that's kind of a convoluted question. So you've been in it, you've experienced it. So now you literally got your boots on the ground and your feet dirty. What would you have told younger Alex, hey, or tell anybody wanting to go into the profession? I did this, but you might maybe want to do that.
I know a smaller portion of the degree I got for my forensic side was heavily chemistry based, from watching TV shows and everything. And I really didn't know a whole lot of like what law enforcement side of this job was, for the forensic side and everything. I wouldn't have probably done the degree more in chemistry, because I didn't realize that's pretty much only if you're going to be in like a drug lab.
Right.
That's really the only time you're going to be messing with chemicals and everything. The best thing to be doing is more your CJ classes, understanding the law side of it as well. I did not think I needed to know that. I thought it was going to be more like, call me crime scene, I come out, process and everything, but needing to know the actual laws and everything is such a big part of our job, especially on what we can and cannot do.
Right.
And then just taking more crime scene based classes about how to process and everything, because every crime scene is going to be different.
So from time to time, we'll have folks apply to the office to do an internship, or they'll call Randy and say, or they'll call me and I'm like, let me call Randy. So it seems like everybody wants to kind of get into anthropology. They want to get into digging up bones and things. And I know that certainly has a place under the umbrella of what you guys do, but I don't, unless you're going to be an anthropologist, and maybe I'm wrong, unless you're going to be an anthropologist, I think you're kind of spinning your wheels if you want to be a crime scene person.
There's not enough jobs out there for that specialty. That's one of the problems I've seen recently, is they're graduating more people than there are jobs to be found.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. All right, good. So maybe for you, Randy, because Alex, you're new, and you probably have an answer to this question as well. What case taught you the most during your career, Randy?
Mine would be one where, and I believe you've seen me present this before actually at the Homicide Investigator Association, would be having to think out of the box when all the traditional stuff fails. This was one where on a sexual assault case, when all else failed, we used a shop vac and vacuumed a yard to actually find hair from the assailant in a grassy yard to get a DNA match and actually come back and be able to find the person. And we had worked days on that case to come up with anything, and we kind of came up with a crazy off the wall idea, ran it by the state lab to see if they'd be willing to work the DNA once we did it. And the guy's in jail for life plus 62 years now. So it was thinking out of the box and not using traditional means and having to come up with something that works when all else fails.
Awesome. Alex, you got one that sticks out in your mind so far?
Honestly, not yet. I just haven't worked enough scenes yet to have one that's just like
the standout.
The
gold standard.
Well, right, because right now all of my cases are standout cases, because I've only worked, I've only been doing crime scene stuff for just under a year now. So all of my cases are like, I'm learning something new on each case.
The one I mentioned with the shop vac made case law in North Carolina, and it's always good when you're on the right side of making case law.
Yeah,
on the good side.
Yes. All right, real quick, fast fire, rapid fire. What emerging technologies are changing crime scene investigations?
Most of it's digital. It's either digital or new light sources. So on the digital side, it's new things that can, work with cell phones, computers, things that'll crack codes, be able to get in there, be able to bypass security systems, be able to download things.
Okay.
On the more CSI side, it's new light sources, new things that they're coming out with that help you actually find hidden evidence by, be it blood, be it body fluids, whatever. And they've been around for years, but they're getting way better.
Excellent. All right. Well, in about the 4 minutes that I have left, because you guys play a major role in our teen academy, you want to tell everybody kind of what you guys do? Because your nights are coming up very shortly. You'll have CSI Night 1 and CSI Mystery Night 2. So kind of tell our listeners what you guys do as part of our teen academy to show our young folks what you guys do.
So Alex and I, on the first night, actually, after intros and after you were done speaking, took each one of the groups, because we have a huge group this year.
We do, 79.
Yes.
Awesome.
We took them through the crime lab, gave them a quick tour of the crime lab, maybe about 45 minutes, and showed them, through a basic version of how everything works. So that was night 1. So when we actually get to CSI night 1, we will talk to them for maybe 30, 40 minutes. I'll go over a few more things, or maybe Holly, Tony, some of our other CSIs will talk. Then we'll divide them into groups, and we'll have 3 major activities for them. One will be Holly's escape room, which anybody who's ever been to an escape room, there's a lot of clues, a lot of puzzles, a lot of locked stuff. I've found that the kids and the teens are great at it. I'm horrible at it. You would think that after all these years and all this stuff that I do, that I'd be good at it. I'm horrible.
I don't want the escape room. I want the key to the door.
Exactly. Yeah. Let me out. So we do that. We allow them to bring their own items from home, or they can use something there, and we fingerprint the items.
Yes.
They lift them. They look at them. We teach them how to basically compare what types they have. We go over some fingerprinting information with them. And then lastly, what we'll do is we talk about, besides fingerprints, I also do footwear. So footwear and tire tracks, one of the things that we look at is, their shoes, the wear marks. I teach them about the bottoms of their shoes. So then we'll give them dental stone, and we'll actually have them to cast the bottoms of their shoes and make about a 2 or 3 pound cast that they'll get at graduation, that will say Teen Academy on it, and it'll be an impression of the shoe that they have.
Awesome. Well, I know that Holly goes above and beyond. The last one that she did, I walked into and I looked around and I said, "That's good," and I left. I was scared. But they really do. All the detectives, all you guys in crime scene, all of our K9 was huge the other night. I got a lot of good feedback from the folks that did our K9s. They love that. They had lake night last night. I believe Matt said they went down and got to ride the boat and got some really good feedback from that, though. So we are tickled to death to have such a large group and to be able to offer this program. And another program, ladies and gentlemen, that you may be interested in, especially with young ladies fixing to go back to college, is our RAD class. It's Rape Aggression Defense. It's a women's self-defense course taught basically by women. There are a few guys that get involved when we do the practicals. But it basically teaches you to be aware of your circumstance, be aware of your surroundings, how not to be a victim of a crime, to use what you have to defend yourself with, so that if you're in a walker, one of the coolest ones I ever saw, a lady was in a walker, and she needed it to get around. But our instructors showed her how to use the walker, how to use her purse, how to use her keys, how to use your voice, self-awareness. It's a 2-day class. It's free, absolutely free. It does come with a certification. A lot of colleges and universities around the state of North Carolina offer it as a 1 or 2 hour elective class. So if you have a college student going back to school, they will have a certification that they can present to the school. It also allows you to be able to return to take a refresher if you have that certification. So the course will be Saturday, August the 8th from 8 to 5, and then Sunday, August the 9th from 2 to 5 at our annex. Our training annex, sorry, I can't read my own notes, at our training annex located at 1714 Wilkesboro Highway here in Statesville. That QR code will come up tomorrow on our Facebook page. You have to register through the QR code so that we know how many students are coming. So take advantage of that. It's just another way that Sheriff Campbell wants us to give back to the community to prevent folks from being victims of crimes. So that means you guys don't have anything to investigate, which is a good day when we don't have to investigate crimes. So again, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've received something today, some information. If you have questions about crime scene or crime scene investigators, or would like any of them to come to your civic group, church group, youth group, to learn more about it, please give us a call at the Iredell County Sheriff's Office, and we'll get them there so that you too can learn more about crime scene investigating at the Iredell County Sheriff's Office. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in.